Hello and welcome to the Innovative Studio. Guys, this is our third lesson of the roadmap series for learning C++ using Visual Studio 2022. Today we will learn how we can declare a variable, what is variable, rules for the naming the variables, basic data types in the C++, declaring and initializing variable, constants definition, typecasting, how we can convert from one type to other type, and last but not the least, practice coding examples. So guys, let's start with the what is variable. Basically, variable is a name, a storage or a memory where you can store your data, your values. Every variable have following three things. One, it have a name that is identified to use in code, and second is type of that variable, which can be int, float, decimal, string, boolean. So this is the type, and guys, the value is that which it contains. So let's move to the next. Yes, example of variable you can see here, int age equal 25. So guys, if you look into this, int is the data type that represents the integer, and age is the variable name, and the third value 25 is the value of that variable which we have assigned. So it's very simple to define a variable and understand what is a variable. Variable contains, start with the data type, then the variable name, and then you can assign a value to initialize it. Let's move to the next. Yes, how many rules and naming for the variables. So rule for the naming variable, you can use the letters, digits and underscore to start a variable. So guys, you will must start a letter or a underscore for a variable. There is few things which you can't do, uh, like you can't use the reserve words. Reserve words are those which are like language statements like int, float and string. These are the reserve words and keywords for the language, and you can't use those for the variable definition or declaration. So one thing more, and very important, in C++, variables are the case sensitive. You define a variable with capital A, and age is title case and other is all small lowercase. So these are when you will define, these are the two different variables. So you understand the case sensitivity, and this is the definition of case sensitivity. So C++ variable definition is the case sensitive. So basic data types in C++, yeah, definitely these are the 6 basic data types: int, float, double, char, character, you can say, boolean, string values. So these are the 6 basic data types in C++. Let me explain what the size it takes for the storage. Int takes the 4 bytes, and the value example you can store like int store 10, -20 and 300. Like these are the values which can be stored in a int value. So float 4 byte takes, it contains the decimals, like you store a value 3.14, can store -0.5. These are the values, and float is a decimal numbers variable. Next to that is double. Double takes the 8 bytes, and it is the more precise value of decimals. It can contains that like a pi value, you can say that it is 3.14159.265. even it's almost 8 digit decimal places, so more precisely you can save the decimal numbers. So char also called a character, so it takes 1 byte and can store only a single character. Like you can store a alphabet in capital or lowercase, or you can store a int value in a character like 5, 6, 7, 8. Single digit values can be stored as character as well. So guys, next is the string. It varies, not a primitive data type, part of string. Basically you can store a array of characters. String is also is called array of character. You can store in a string variable like value hello, or any name like David, like Muhammad, like Ali. So these values you can store in a string. So guys, fourth one, that declaring you how you can declare and initialize variable. Very simple. You will declare a variable with starting with int like a data type, and number is the variable name identifier. And how you can assign a value, that is initialization. Number equal 100, that is the initialization. You can assign any int to this number. And next one, declaration and initialization in both in single statement, like int age equal 25. We have declared a variable and assigned a value 25, so both initialization and declaration done in a single line statement. So guys, uh, variables also be variables means that any value that can be stored or varied. And next to that is constants. Basically, if you want to store a value which never been changed and assigned a one time, so you will use the const uh, keyword. And like you are assigning a value data type double and pi, you know the pi value is 3.14159, so it's a constant value. So when you have to store values like this, you will use the constant variables, that is declared and assigned value once. You can't reinitialize these, so that's the constant type. So casting, type casting, basically conversion from one data type to another data type. Few data types are explicitly converted and few are implicitly. So if a small value assigned to a bigger data type, like small data type is int and bigger data type is a float, so you it is a implicit casting or conversion. So if you assign a value that is you are dividing a integer with some value which will answer in the in precision value. So in a double, you will first convert into the that double type, and then it will assign to a double variable. So guys, this is called implicit casting or conversion. Basically, when a bigger value um, like a double value which is declared here, it will be explicitly converted. So guys, let's move to on our practical practice. So we will switch to the Visual Studio, and here comes our coding of the examples. Let I explain these. You can see here the, as usual, we have created a Visual Studio C++ project here regarding the lesson 3. So we can start here from, so what all type of variable we are defining here. Usually all headers are included here, like pch dot header included the IO stream, included the string, and using the namespace std. We have already defined these uh, namespaces in previous lessons. You can, if you have any doubt or need any clarification, you can see those videos, watch those videos for learning those. So let's move to the our uh, practically how we can define the variables in C++. See guys, here these two lines, first commented line explaining that integer variable, and below that we are defining int age variable assigning 21. Both we are doing the declaration and initialization of the variable in this statement. So next to that we are defining the float variables, means floating point, decimal points. So float price equal 99.99. so floating point values can be stored in float variable. Same way we have defined a variable and initialized with the value in this statement. So next is double. Double is more precise, more precision. We have defined double data type, then variable name, and then we have initialized with the double value. You can see here 3.14159266535. So this is the more precise value which double variable can store. Next to that is the character variable. Simply char is the data type, character data type, grade, and we have assigned the value of a alphabet. A character is stored by the grade, and next to that is the boolean variable. How we can define a boolean variable? Like same way, first of all bool data type, then variable name, and then its value true we have initialized. Next to that is we have defined the string variable. You can see here string is data type, then name is variable, then assigned value is ASCII. So right after below of this variable we are going to print on console all these outputs. So as you know, cout statement can print the all these values with their labels. You can see here endl statement, we already defined that. It ends the statement and shifts the control on next line. So all variable will be printed. Name is a string variable, age is an int variable, price is a float variable, pi is a, you know, it's a double variable, and next to that grade store the character, and the next to that is the boolean variable, contains the true or false value. You know, you can also store 1 or 0 in boolean value. So let's we run. You know, we have already told you that we can run a program by F5. So let's start with F5 and let's see the output here. See the name Ali A21, and you can see price, that is the float variable, and value is 99.9. pi value, it's a, you know, it's a double value, double data type. Grade, store the character A, grade, and student. As I told you that boolean value can store 1 or 0, means 1 mean true and 0 mean false. So this is the first coding example. Let's move to the next of our coding example. So let I move to the next one. So we will comment this one. As you know, we can use block comments using slash and asterisk. There is a block comment, so we can use this one to comment a block of code. You can see here we have moved to this one, so it is commented first of our programming example, code practice example. Now we move to the next practice example, and in this one we are going to show you that how we can swap two numbers. Like I have mentioned here, we can swap our two numbers, and next to that guys, I show you the next example by swapping two numbers. Here comes our main program, and you can see here we have defined variable a equal 10, b equal 20, and taken the temp variable which we will use for the swapping as a temporary variable. So we will print out before swapping, and we will store a into temp, and then assign b into a, and then temp assign into b, and then we will going to show you here that what is the output after swapping. So let's I run it and see the output. Yes guys, let's see this one, the result. Before swapping, a contains a value and b contains the 20. Now after swapping, a contains 20 and b contains 10. So this is our second example practice code. So we will move to next one, and in next one we will uh, calculate the area of a circle. Like you can see here, we will calculate the area of circle, and we will use constant, double, and input output in our this practice code. So let's start with this. I uncomment this one, and you can see here, let me explain you. We have done with this, and now we are going to assign the so guys, the third example of our code, let me show you. In this we are going to discuss the character ASCII values and practice the character type casting as well. So we will show you how this code will work. See here that we have defined a letter variable as a character data type. We will see out that what is character we will read by using the cn. Basically the cn statement we use to read the input from keyboard. So next to that we will show the ASCII value of that letter by converting, casting, or you can say by converting it into int, and it will show you the ASCII value of that character variable. Let's run it. Yes, if I input a, then you can see the ASCII value of this a is 65. So I will run it once again, and we will check the value of b as well. So guys, let's read this value of b. I inputted the B, and you can see the ASCII value of B is 66. So move to the next example. Basically, one thing I would like to explain here is that here is conversion and casting is also done. If you look into this statement, int inside the small brackets, it's used as a casting purpose. So let's move to the next coding practice example. So in this example, we will check the how boolean values can be defined and how it will be used for the decision making. Basically, boolean values are basic part of our decision making with use of true and false parameters. So let's I run it, and you can see here we have defined that boolean variable is running, so and assigned him false value, so means there is no rain. And next we have defined is weekend is the variable name and assign the true value, means when we print it, it will show the value 1, means it's a weekend. And when we print out see out this statement, it will show us output 0, and it means there is no raining. It is no raining and will show the 0 value. And it is it weekend? Yes, it will show us the value 1. So let's run the program and see the output. So guys, check it. You can see here, is it raining? So the value is 0, means no raining, false. And second one, is it weekend? Yes, 1 value true, yes, it's a weekend. So we have concluded this coding example as well. This is our fourth coding example. Now we will move to the bit complex example. You can see here we are going to perform some calculations. So multiple data types, like we use int, we will use the we will make a sum of two values, we will calculate the difference of two values, we will calculate the product of two values. If you see here, we will input two integers. This will print in the console the label for input of two values, and cn value will read both two values num1 and num2 from the console. And then we will show sum of two numbers, num1 and num2, then difference of two number, num1 and num2, then print out the product of two numbers, and then we will calculate the quotient of two numbers. Let's guys run it and see the output. Yes, first number is 10 and second number is 20. So you can see sum of two numbers is 30, the difference of num1 and num2 is minus 10, then product is 200, and then the quotient is 0.5. And we have also performed the casting here by converting the double value from when num1 is divided by num2, it is a rational number, it comes into the precision, and we have casted and converted this as a typecasting. So here we also performing the typecasting. So this is also our part of the exercise of this one. Now move to the our next example. So here comes, I'm going to uncomment this code. So guys, let's show you first variable definition. We are concatenating two strings here, and also we are practicing the string operation here. So we are defining in single line first name and last name. Then we will print out your first name on the label of this one on the console, and then we will read by cn statement the first name, then label for the second name, and then cn read the second name string value. Then a string will full name defined, and it will concatenate the two strings first name and last name is concatenating with the plus sign, and in between we are adding a empty string and then adding the last name. So the last statement cout will print your full name and also terminate the line and shift the control to the next. Let's run it, guys. So I will enter first name Mohammed, then Taha, and guys, you can see here the string concatenation operation comes into the operation, and it is concatenated the first and last name, and full name is Muhammad Taha. So guys, this is the today's practice, and we have done very well here. I hope you have learned a very good learning from this series of this episode, and let we move to the our 2 days summary of the lesson. So guys, we have first of all declared variables, and then what is we have learned today that what is a variable. Anything you defined, first will data type, then you will name it identifier, and then you can assign a value to initialize. So guys, then we have learned about the rules naming of variables. All variables can be defined with alphanumeric, start with letters and underscores. That is the main definition rule for the variable definition, and there are few limitation as well. You can't use the reserved words, means that language statements like data types like for statement, if statement, or other like these keywords of keywords can't be used as the keep the variable names. So next to that, basic we have learned about the basic data types in C++. Then we have declared, initialized the variables, we have defined the constants, we have performed the typecasting by converting from one type to another type, like when we convert the data type like float into int, or we convert double into float, so then we will use the typecasting as well. So guys, we have also performed the printing, user inputs, and arithmetic operation by in our coding practice. So hopefully you will have learned a lot. So guys, in the end, uh, don't be forget to subscribe and like and comment and give your share your feedback on these learning videos. So thank you so much, and bye bye for the today's learning episode.